Tonight's tactical enhancement is a crystal wheat beer, which I can't otherwise pronounce. Tonight we're playing Black Powder. 500 points this time, and it's a return of the French. Very similar to what they had last time. And my Prussians again. Because I only have the one army for Black Powder at the moment, but I've made some changes. Llew, talk us through what's going on with your lot.
Okay, so in the fun-loving, freedom-fighting French, we have a brigade here of 4 line troops and a light. 3 line troops and a light, and over here another 3 line troops and a light. 2 leadership 7 generals, commander here.
So they're brigade commanders?
Brigade commanders here,
yep.
Army commander here. And over here we have the tin pot lobsters, French cuirassiers, with a leadership 8 general, because he's good, and a galloper gun or horse artillery piece.
Horse artillery, so no foot artillery today.
No foot artillery today. We're
right.
full out attack.
So given this is more points than last week, what did you? So you got more cavalry and better cavalry.
Yeah, well, last week we did 450 points.
Yep.
So I was able to drop out the guard light and put in 2 full brigades of cuirassiers.
Oh, so the guard light was the cavalry, right?
Yeah, guard light was the cavalry. So now I've got a full regiment of cuirassiers, and the horse gun, but had to drop out the foot artillery to get to the. It's actually 508 points.
Rightio. Because cuirassiers are named after wearing the cuirass, which is basically a steel breastplate that should be at minimum pistol proof, possibly musket proof, depending on how well it's made. Right. And now the Prussians. We're getting near the maximum value of my army here. I actually have a few more musket units, but so what I'm taking this time, it's a variation on the last list, is 2 brigades of infantry, each made up of 2 regiments. 1 regiment of muskets. The regiments are only 1 unit strong. You can have 1 or 2 battalions of muskets in a infantry regiment. Battalions in the infantry. Yeah, God, terminology. And I've got 1 regiment of. You can have 1 to 2 regiments of landwehr, but each regiment is at minimum 2 battalions. So that's quite a lot of. Landwehr when you get down to it. I actually could have put this entire infantry force into one. This is all in one brigade. God. And the other regiment is over here with same again, landwehr and muskets. And I've decided I'll try putting the muskets in line, flanked by landwehr in column, so I can get a few more shots down the flank. Because these guys are going to have to maneuver. They're either going to have to come around the back, or they're going to have to come and try and get an angle over here and double team on this side, in which case I'll be wanting to move up. But I'll also have to fend off this cavalry over there, so I'm going to have to start putting out some shot. I've got 1 unit of Ulan over there. I've got cannon here. I didn't leave myself enough room for the other cannon. I misjudged, so the other ones have to wait for the infantry in front to get out of the bloody way. And I've got Ulan here, also because there wasn't really enough space anywhere else, so they'll have to basically get out of the way of the infantry. And I've got my dragoons hiding. We're saying they're in a tactical reserve, but the reality is they're not getting killed. That way I can lose all the Ulan and not give a shit, as long as these guys don't run away. So it's a bit gamey, but yeah, on the other hand, there may come a point we've got to throw them in there just to tip the balance. And I don't want to get carried away with my cavalry flapping around in the breeze getting destroyed. And I've got 2 tiny units of Jaegers there and there. These guys will move up into the buildings. So we've got a lovely little farmstead in the middle. Trees are blocking terrain. The road, you could probably march up in column if you're so inclined. The fields are decorative. Farm's got to be there for some reason or another. Hill is, a hill with a lovely sunset. All the buildings are light cover. We're assuming they're timber. And the objective really is to take the crossroads, which essentially is taking the farmstead, because we're not going to waste our time trying to fight in the middle of the farmstead. We'll be here all night trying to do that. So that's it. That's what we're doing today. It's a standard biff, with the exception of if we don't destroy each other, then a victory is achieved by holding the crossroads. So roll first turn. 2 and a 1. Let's hope that's a sign of things to come. That note, we'll check in at the end of Prussian turn 1. Prussian turn 1. We got most of our orders off. This regiment advanced, took the crossroads. These guys trotted along behind to take up shots in the woods. These guys have trotted along to get into the building here. These guys moved a full 2 moves, which I didn't really think through because they only moved 8 per move. But I'm so used to Warhammer, where they only moved 4, that the idea of moving 16 inches in line is pretty full on. So that's where they are, and they're probably within charge range of the enemy cavalry. Worry about that if it happens. I did manage to get these Uhlans on the flank here to move up. That can be useful. I didn't think to do anything like reaction charges, though. I might have to think about that next turn. The one thing I didn't get to happen, even with the general's reroll, was to get this lot to move, because I really wanted them to go up around here to provide support. So I put them in rather an unfortunate place to begin with. But that order didn't work. But otherwise, things are going swimmingly. Apart from the wasted ammunition, as I fired 2 batteries of guns up through there at these chaps and missed completely. But we'll get them next time. Now, over to the French, turn 1. End of French, turn 1. They started off with some terrible dice rolls. These guys advanced and formed into line. That's fine, they couldn't shoot though. These guys failed their orders, so they had to use the general to re-roll to move up. Then this light unit here tried to move up and failed. So that was spectacularly crap. Lew's dice managed to do it again over here, where this entire brigade failed to do anything. He has some good news where his cannon moved up and did 1 move, unlimit, and shot. Now I should point out, this is after this cavalry unit here had advanced. They only got 1 move, so they tried to charge these infantry, force them into square, but they didn't actually make the distance. The cavalry did, however, intimidate these guys into bunching, which makes it much easier to shoot with this lot. Then he proceeded to roll 2 dice, one of which was a 1, which is the only dice that was going to miss. So I got a bit lucky there. Or, well, with the exception of this poor dead fellow over here. Now these cav, these are cuirassiers, charged at my cav, who of course returned the charge. Now, this is interesting. It looked pretty dire for a minute, because I took 4 casualties out of that. It was really crap. And I only did 2 hits on these guys, but he failed both the saves, which is quite remarkable. So even though he pushed my fellows way back, I was lucky not to break actually, but he pushed my fellows way back and took their ground. They've taken 2 wounds. So that's not great for that bunch of cuirassiers, although it's still quite dangerous on this flank, what with these cuirassiers. What was it you were saying about cuirassiers?
There was reports at Waterloo, as the French cuirassiers charged past the squares and the British fired them, the French could be seen swaying in their saddles as the bullets hit the cuirass. Right.
Well, that's reassuring, I suppose. Bulletproof, as it were. And that
from time to time.
The term bulletproof actually goes back a long way, because what you'd do is you'd make your armour and then you'd proof it by firing a bullet at it. And if it stopped the bullet, then it's bulletproofed. And the Japanese used to do it too. They had breastplates that would stop a matchlock.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's lots of nooks and crannies into historical lore, which if you're watching this is probably something you're vaguely aware of anyway. So that's it. That's the turn 1 for the French. And we were just commenting earlier, it's the same table. It's very similar armies, a little bit different. But already the effect is quite different with some minor changes to the list and some different approaches to the tactic, different mission objective, slightly different terrain. So that's all going swimmingly. Now it's time to stop, make a cup of tea, and then we'll do Prussian turn 2. End of Prussian turn 2. Now some things worked, some things didn't. I'll start with what didn't. Over here we took these guys to shoot at the cannon because well, there wasn't anything else to shoot at really. This unit in line had to shoot at the cavalry. They shot these cuirassiers. They hit them well enough, but they made the saves. And this lot who are in square took a shot at the thoroughly mauled. I'm not sure if I commented on this in the last turn. In the last turn, these guys charged the Lancers, and the Lancers took a number of wounds, but the Cuirassiers took 2 as well, which is pretty bad for cavalry. So I thought I'll try and bump them off. I'll put another shot at them, so naturally I missed. These guys, we tried to rally them, and we bollocks that up, so they still got all 3 wounds. Well, they were shaking. They're not having a great time. But that's where the bad news stops. The good news is we charged this lot into the unit in line, walloped them hard. They took 4 wounds, and they got pushed back, and they're shaken now. They actually shot us on the way in. They shook us, but we made a save, so there's no wounds on that unit of landwehr. And we pushed them back really hard, and then we chased after them to wallop them again next turn. And the good thing is, by pure chance, the supporting units, mostly because of your terrible dice rolling for command last turn, are not in a position to countercharge. Now we've kept these guys on the objective, and these guys are moved up, really on an impulse move to lend support for these guys. I had 2 supports, Llew only had 1. But I've angled them so that they could charge into the flank in the following turn if they needed to. They won't need to now, but also without presenting their flank to this unit here. These guys remembered how to read, took their orders and galloped off over to the flank here, which is where I need them. And I did move the guns up just to provide close support later in the game, because I didn't really have a target. And I still don't have targets for my Jaeger units either, but they're in position to be an asset later on if they're needed. So that's it, that's the Prussian turn. We'll now go into the French turn 2, where presumably they will exact revenge, assuming they can understand what each other are saying. End of French turn 2, and my wasn't it eventful. The good news was that when he tried to maneuver, these guys all disagreed again, and there was no reroll because earlier these guys had blundered in trying to maneuver to support the unit that was there. We ignored that blunder because it was just ridiculous. It was just shit dice that were going to damage the game, so we decided to ignore that. Now over here, the cavalry over here, ooh, terrible filming there, Christopher, they decided to hold back and rally, got rid of a wound. The cannon here shot, these guys did 2, so they've copped it a little bit. They're in a square, so they're copying it on 2+. On the other hand, they are keeping them at bay. Less fortunate was these guys. They charged headlong at my line that was in the middle here. I failed to form square, and I couldn't even shoot the bastards because I buggered up the order. We actually rolled a blunder, but because we'd forgiven a previous blunder, we forgave that one, which didn't make much difference. These guys barreled in, went choppity like crazy, and we actually did inflict some damage on them. We've got, what, 2 wounds on them? Something like that?
Yeah, 2 wounds. The only thing that gave them the breakthrough was the D3 heavy cavalry bonus. They rolled a 5.
Yeah, because you did a bit of damage to them. We did some damage to you. We had supports with anchoring units on each side, which is what they were there for. But the heavy cavalry bonus, he did D3, got 3.
Yeah.
And that won, and then I rolled 3 on the dice, so they just fucked right off.
Well, roll 1 by 1.
Yep, you won by 1, yeah. So
Just enough.
That's right. So that was a really close fight. A lot went your way there, actually, now that I think about it.
It did.
But, you can't have it all, and the good news is I've got guns over here.
I don't want to talk about it.
I'm going to enjoy this turn. In the meantime, this unit here was actually fighting against the line. They'd followed up from last turn, and I just rolled up a fucking storm. I rolled 6 hits, and Llew didn't save any. He bumped a guy off of mine, I think. Oh no, that was from last turn.
That was last time.
Yeah, so I did 6 wounds. Even with supports on the sides there, they just legged it. They
had enough.
They had box cards. We're not going to be friends.
End of the night, all I want to do is destroy that unit.
That's right.
They are the worst sausage eaters on the planet. It will be total annihilation to the Germans there.
We have new victory conditions for the French. On that note, we're going to Prussian turn 3. And of Prussian turn 3, some things worked, some things didn't. That seems to be a recurring refrain. What worked? Well, these guys fell back 6 inches and popped around into some cavalry. These guys fell back a bit more than that, basically getting the hell away from that gun. I thought about having a go and charging it, but if these units start to break, it doesn't leave me an awful lot left of my formation. These guys finally managed to rally and took a wound off. So we're blocking the rear. Over here, we move these guys back. I think I did that as a reaction to winning the battle last turn. Now we tried to charge the cavalry in over here. Use the general's reroll. No fucking joy. Cavalry. I thought about spending points on upgrading the cavalry's leadership, which would have enabled that to happen, but instead I'd actually poured points into these chaps. An extra unit of these guys who did get some shots off, but they're very much in reserve at the moment. The good news is these guys blasted the hell out of a unit of cuirassiers that were here. Because those cuirassiers were in my back line, and that's not good. There's still some of them in the back line there, but they're dead in the wheat field. The rest of them are fucked off.
Gosh.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. We dumped shots from them, shots from the square, shots from the snipers here. We had at them with everything we could. There was no way I could let them go unmolested.
No.
And they were 3 over their morale by the time they took off. So, yeah. That needed to happen. So, it's still anyone's game. There's an awful lot of chaps over there. At the moment they learn how to read their fucking orders, they're going to be in the game. That's a great weight of troops. And these guys are actually largely unmolested as well. So the fight is on. Over to the French, turn 3. Okie dokie. French turn 3, and these guys finally figured out how to read their orders and felt a dire need to overcompensate and ran forward full pelt, all bloody 4 of them, into this unit here. I did a wound to them. They did none to me, weirdly. I made my saves. I got a bit of support from these chaps. They had 3 support from the entire fucking regiment backing up this unit of light guys. I didn't do any damage because they charged in. So it means I lost, but my morale went well, so we're still there. I actually came out ahead in that scenario, except for the fact that these poor bunch of old geezers are going to get utterly fucking mauled in the long run. What else happened? Yes, this lot charged into here. We had a good old biff. He actually poured a huge number of wounds on this unit. I did a couple to him, but we did our morale really well again. Over here, these guys failed to pass their their orders to charge. So what Lew's done at the end of his turn is he's moved up his commander to bloody well tell them to get their shit together and go kill some Prussians. And maybe tell the cannons to do their job too. The cannons keep blasting away at these guys. He's put them back up to 3 wounds again. He rolled a 1. That's out of 6 shots at this unit, 2 1s. Could be worse. That's about it. I'm not sure if anything else happened. Oh, these guys moved up to provide support. That wasn't too bad. These guys failed their order. That was hilarious. Yeah, Llew's orders tonight are a bit abysmal. On that note, we're into turn 4. We only did 3 turns last week and got a conclusion. Managed to bust both of our units in 3 turns last time, but we're going to turn 4. And the good news is, when these guys, if they do finally crack these guys, if they come around the corner, they've got that to look forward to. On that note, Prussians, turn 4. Prussian turn 4. Oh, it's getting exciting.
It is.
Some things didn't go too well over here. We tried to rally a wound, it didn't work. I was trying to get into the flank here, but that just wasn't going to happen. These guys, I wanted them to fall back and change formation. That didn't happen. That was mostly sort of to clear the way for these guys to charge, but still a little bit of a schmozzle over here. And I didn't think to move my commanders in the right place to make it happen. The main reason for that was I was pretty focused on making sure that my general was in the right spot. Look, and he could have been there. But I parked him right next to the guy that I wanted him to be able to support, to ensure that my unit of psychopath conscript landwehr charged into the flank of a unit that was there. And they did, and they bashed him up good and proper. Another 6 wounds. He saved a few, but I dumped 6 wounds on these guys, and they fell back, and these guys chased them. Now that's the same unit that was in contact with these guys last turn. And they did actually dump some extra wounds on these guys, and these guys did nothing in return. So they've fallen back disordered. Their order, well, modified a 5. So it wasn't great, but they can recover from here. I mean, you could try and charge them with them, but they've got other problems. They're in square at the moment, I think, because these guys went to charge them, and they made their test. So once again, we've got these guys trying to shuffle another unit off the table. Over here, while these guys were doing Sweet Fanny Adams, this unit of very sneaky and actually quite effective Jaegers. Yeah, they changed buildings and they started picking off officers. And they did some damage over here, and they put that unit into what is it? Disorder. Yeah. Now these guys did a bit of shooting. They had nothing else to do. Shot at them, did nothing.
They disordered them.
Shot at them and disordered them. Yeah. So these guys, who have been getting the hell shot out of them by cannon, disordered them. I have to say, I'm gonna fucking jinx myself here, but I have to say the dice have been favouring me quite a bit. Normally I'm griping about my dice, so those of you who watch this channel will know what I mean. But it's actually going quite well. So that said, let's see if the dice completely fucking reverse now as we move into French turn 4. Well, over here, I had everything going my way. I only did 1 wound. I actually hit him 5 times. Did 1 wound. They did 1 wound back, and I failed it, and he died. But they've got a support. So technically I lost. I rolled a 7. It was just enough to stick around in the fight. Thank God for that. This pack of psychopaths must be... well, they're old, or they're wheezy little, office clerk types, like me, I suppose. And they're probably getting a bit puffed out by now, all things considered. They've been doing all the work on this flank. Okay, over here, we had a good old biffo. Did you win? I think you won.
No, it's a draw.
Oh, God, no.
No, I won and you stayed.
Yeah, they rolled an 8. They stuck around. So they do have the advantage next turn. This lot charged headlong into my cav, and we mauled the shit out of each other yet again. My guys just broke and ran. These guys, technically they won the combat. Actually, I rolled really badly, but that's right. I think they earned their keep, those fellas. Because these guys are shaken, and because the other unit is destroyed, they now have to bugger off.
They retire in good order?
Yes, and they take their horse gun with them.
Yeah.
Which is an absolute reprieve for these poor buggers who've been getting the hell shot out of them, including this unit now in line to keep shooting at them. Anything else exciting going on?
So this unit here held.
Yep.
I think next turn will be the crunch turn.
Quite
Because
possibly.
we have to see what's going to happen with them. They'll probably come out of square now the cavalry have retired.
Yeah, they can form line.
They'll form line and we'll have a firefight here.
Yep. And you got the advantage there, but at least if I can bump a few shots off you, that's all right.
And it will just depend what happens. If we can bust here, hold here, I may be able to get around. And I think the same applies to you.
Yeah.
If you can hold there and bust here, I'm gone.
There's a couple of things I can do. I'm going to have a crack. Right, on that note, into Prussian turn 5. Prussian turn 5, and look, nothing bad happened, but we didn't quite crack through either. We formed these guys up into line, had a blast, did nothing. This fight kept going, and it was a tie, but these guys are... We've been inflicting wounds and saving our own. I can't believe how tough this unit has been tonight. But yeah, they're holding up against the entire lot here. These guys put some rounds in again against this unit and managed to disorder them again. So they're disordered. These guys are shaken. The rest of your unit's quite strong, unfortunately. Over here, we had a good old fight. Lots of saves were made. And there was support. So you had support, I had support. Your guys were shaken because they're a bit over. But they stuck around, didn't they? Yeah, so I won the fight, but they stuck around.
Yeah.
Now these guys got their orders off to try and charge them. They formed square. So this unit's square, that unit's square, that unit's in a fight. Shock came off of them. We tried to move these cavalry around up here because I think I might need a little extra bit to nudge them off the table. Then we got the cannon shooting up here. I made some hits, but you saved at least one of them, didn't you?
Only saved one.
Yeah, so I got one hit on them out of the cannons. I need to keep moving the cannons up to keep doing some damage here. That's assuming, of course, that this lot don't bust around the flank this turn. The good news is the entire cavalry formation, the brigade, they're gone. That's great. It keeps me in the game
They
a bit longer.
retired in good order.
Oh, okay. Does that make a difference, does it?
No. It sounds good.
Alright, well that's what we put in the dispatch, I suppose.
Yeah.
They're scarpered with their lily tails behind their legs in good order.
That's it.
On that note, we've got time to at least do the French turn 5, and we'll check in after that. French turn 5 is the fast turn, so we're going to try and squeeze in a turn 6 before it's pumpkin o'clock. These guys advanced and put a round on these guys. Didn't take any casualties, but they did disorder them, so they're not too happy. This fight, we lost a guy, but we bashed them up good and proper, and they rolled 11 to stick around, which is just what they needed to not have to fall back. Then in the fight over here, it wasn't quite so one-sided. We took a wound. We dumped a whole bunch of wounds on them. They are fucking hurting. But they again rolled an 11 to stick around. The French have had enough of this shit, thank you very much. They're fucking having at it. So going into turn 6. We only did 3 turns last time to break both of our fucking armies. We're going into turn 6 Prussians. Prussian turn 6. Well, we shot. Had a couple of guys here shoot at them. Hit, they survived it. One of the cannon got the orders, turned and shot at them. I think I did a wound, but that's about it. My infantry over there, I should have rallied them. I didn't think of that. So I'm still learning the rules. We hit these guys and disordered them though, so it wasn't a complete loss. But it would have been much better to have not had them shaken. Then there's this situation over here. Well, we won this fight, but they rolled average, but because they're in square, they're still fucking there. And we smashed them in this fight. They rolled a reasonable, it was -4 or something ridiculous. And because they're in square, they're still there. I keep beating the shit out of these guys. They're dropping wounds like flies, but because they're in square, they just won't budge.
Correct.
Very, very frustrating. So that formation is well and truly broken. Mine's not looking too flash. The only one that's in good condition is the French one, and even then they've got quite a few wounds on them. But they're not quite shaken. So we'll check in at the end of the French turn and we'll see what the hell is going on. End of French turn 6. Let's see, they crashed through here, took out that unit. I rolled really crap and ran. Over here they blasted that unit that was there and they just disintegrated really. They have been copying it 6 ways from Sunday all fucking day, that unit. And the unit that broke and ran over here had been holding up, that one unit had been holding up an entire brigade all by themselves. So they finally copped it. Over here there was one unit there that just held. They were shattered, but they held. Their brigade was broken. And over here we bashed that unit again and again, and they finally bloody broke. Yeah, now previously the fucking dragoons, I had them over here hiding just so that that cavalry brigade would not break. The situation we've got now is we've probably been a bit forgiving of each other with brigades, but we both got one functional on the table. In fact, no casualties on mine and your infantry brigades, and pretty good nick. Whereas we've basically lost an infantry brigade each. But the objective was to hold the
Crossroads?
Hold the crossroads, which we did manage to do.
I totally forgot about that.
That's the thing, you're killing shit left, right and centre. You forgot what to go for. My lordy my, what a game. What have we learned?
Dice are imperative.
Yep.
And supports work really well.
Oh yeah.
Jaeger's sniping at the sides of my column is not very pretty.
That was pretty rude, I have to say.
It was rude.
I mean, they didn't break anything, but just turn after turn, they're being a real nuisance.
Yeah, just kept disordering me. And being aggressive is good.
I love being aggressive with infantry.
Yeah. And you've got German troops, so you want to be aggressive with Germans.
Yeah, I don't know how often the re-rolls tipped anything, but I did enjoy those re-rolls. That's just sticking it up, and it's got some character to it.
Thank you, Squire. Excellent game. We're going to call that a Prussian victory tonight.
Thank you very much.
They held the crossroads. Excellent game.
I like that this is a gentleman's game.
Yeah, truly is.
The rule system just works.
Yeah.
Right, well, many exciting, interesting things happened. I'm learning a few things along the way, like just how fragile things can be, and moving my commanders around is probably the main thing I've got to learn, so I keep forgetting to put them in the right place. It's a different sequence to anything else that I've had goes at.
Commanders move at the end of the turn.
Yeah.
Got to get that in, so set yourself up for the next turn at the end of your turn. You've got to think one turn in advance.
Yeah, and I've got to get more aggressive with my cannon. Although it did help having them backstopping the shit coming around the flank here. They actually did more damage against the cavalry that's coming around the back. But moving them up, I think, is quite a valid strategy. Well, anyway, thanks for watching. We had a blast. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to hit like, subscribe, all that guff. Help the algorithm along. Tell your friends. But for now, it's time to call it a night.